Hello and welcome to another Lewis Media Group tutorial video about Divi. What we're going to talk about today is editing basic pages and enabling the visual builder. So let's get started. Once you log into your website, you'll be brought to a dashboard that looks maybe something like this. Maybe it has fewer boxes, but that's okay. What you'll end up doing is clicking on the name of your website up here where there's a little home, and that will bring you to your home page. Then what you do is find the page that you want to edit. Once you're there, you'll go to the very top and hover over Enable Visual Builder. There's a purple circle with a D inside, and it turns purple when you hover over it. Once you've clicked that, it'll take a little bit to load, and then you'll be ready to start editing. So as you can see, the page looks basically the same, but now when you hover over things, additional options and tools come up. You technically can, and this is fun, just click directly into a spot where there's text and you can type right there. You can highlight things, you can bold, italicize, underline, change the orientation of the text. You can add a link, and if you do that, I recommend going back in and making it open in a new tab, and I'll show you how to do that as well. You can turn this into a quote. You can change the size of the text or whether it's a heading or not. And then you can also change the color. And whether or not it's a list or indented or a number. Perfect. Okay, so those are all of those things that you can do right there just by clicking where there's text. Next up, if you want to undo, say you didn't want to keep any of those changes, you can click Control-Z over and over and over again, or you can go down to the bottom center where there's a little purple guy, and then you click on him and find the hours or the clock icon, and it's your editing history. So what I'm going to do is go back to when I loaded the page because I don't want to keep any of that, and then I'll save my changes. Okay, now another way that you can edit the text is by hovering over it, finding the gray toolbar, and clicking on the gear. This brings up what looks almost like a Word document or a Google Doc, and it is a lot more familiar for a lot of people. This is where you might be able to select something and choose from the options above, and this is also where when you insert a link, you can change the target to open in a new window. Anytime you link to a page that is not on your website, I highly recommend opening it in a new window, because if someone clicks on that link, then it'll take them away from your website. But when it opens in a new window, then it just gives you that freedom to keep them on your website, but they can get back without having to click the back button. It's just another tab. All right, so that's how you do that. You put the URL here. Normally this would be something off of our website, not on it. If it's on your website, then you would leave the target as none. So because I'm linking this to Facebook, I want it in a new window. If I was linking it on our website, I wouldn't have to change that target. So you click OK, and as you can see now, that is a link. And when you move this little editor, you can see over here that it's a link there as well. All right. Then a lot of people, when they are typing, they will want to create some sort of list. But as you can see here, there's a bunch of spaces in between these, and that's kind of frustrating. So what you can do instead is after each, you hold down the Shift key and click Enter. And then there aren't those extra spaces. Another way you can do it, if you don't want to hold down the Shift key at the same time, is by scrolling up to the top, clicking on the Text tab, and then you can see the HTML. This code can be scary for some people, but at the same time you can go in and delete that extra tab right there. All right. So then next up is you'll want to look at the design tab. So see how our heart here is the size and our story and our mission, and then the link is blue. You can go over to heading text, and right now these are, I believe, heading 3. And so then what we can do is we can make them all caps by clicking on this. We can italicize them by clicking here. We can change their color. We could, and then you can always go and click the back arrow that goes back to the original settings. This back arrow goes just to what you had done before. So you can redo, undo right here versus going to the default setting. Then you can change the text size as well. You can change the letter spacing. Add extra padding on either side, so there's space above and below. Give it a shadow. You can even change the color of the shadow. And then you can center it or left align or right align. There are lots of things that you can do here. And again, if you click on this, it discards the changes, and this accepts the changes, and these go back and forth to what you just did. Then I mentioned that this link is blue. You can go up to text and find this little link right here, and that means whenever there's a link, this is what it looks like, and you can change it to be a different color. So maybe I want all of our links to be green, and then I'll change it there. You can also make all of them bold or semi-bold, something like that. But because I don't actually want to change this page, I'm going to discard these changes. Next, if you want to duplicate what this block has, you can click on the clone or duplicate module button. And now you have 2 of them, and you can move this around by selecting here. And then say I want to take it and remove the extra pieces just like that. Then I can edit it here and say, maybe put our family, something along those lines, and then you can see right there that I've edited that text and added it there. We can get rid of it here as well. And I believe that those are most of the things that you would be doing with text. So I hope that that helps. Oh, last thing, if you're putting it on top of a white background, you'll leave it like this, but if it's on top of a dark background, you may want to go into the design under text, scroll to the bottom, and it says text color light. That just turns it to be white, because when you have it be dark, then it uses the default heading color. So choose light on top of a color background. All right, that is it for our text tutorial.